Peace, family. Welcome back. Underground Railroad Radio. We are backstage. Professor Griff, Sister Zaza just did their thing on stage. We at the UAM right now. Real quick before y'all leave, I know y'all tired, but I had to ask y'all this because Griff, you was talking about making this whole lecture thing more cool and more approachable. Do you want the youth to be more involved in it? And you made a comment. You said, well, what are the young ones at home doing now? Well, Griff, it's Wednesday night, brother. Do you know what happened last Wednesday night? Now we talking about waking up the masses of our people. The #1 show on television last Wednesday night was this show called Empire. Okay, so we got the director from Monsters Ball and Precious, Lee Daniels, came up with this, it's like a hip-hop drama, musical drama, where it's the theme of the show is it's a black music label and it's run by a black family, hence you have the name Empire. But what is crazy is that they managed to stick every damn stereotype about black people, or just every negative stereotype you could possibly think of in a book, in one episode. And for some reason, this is the #1 show on cable right now. It's beating out all the competition. I'm trying to figure out, Professor Griff, Sister Zaza, why are people so attracted to, you got the homosexual theme, you got the jail theme, you got the successful brother just happens to be with a white woman theme. You got every negative theme that you and Sister Zaza have talked about on my show, dealing with white supremacy on the show, that they display in one episode, and the people run to it, Griff. The people run to it, Zaza. So you on stage talking about how to get the people to come there. The people are there. How do you get the people from there and here, and why are the people attracted to over there?
Well, to answer your question very directly, we talked about it. We talked about it tonight. She covered one aspect when she talked about this whole scientific intervention in our affairs. I'm talking about everything from the weather, the food, the frequency, the vibration. I covered it when I talk about manipulating and engineering human consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? So you could feed anything and throw it in a slop trough to the pigs. You understand what I'm saying? If we constantly eat this kind of stuff and we're moving towards and we gravitate towards the filth, they're going to keep feeding it to us. You understand what I'm saying? They don't beg these people to tune in and to turn on. You understand what I'm saying? I think these people do it on their own simply because they make it so, what's the word I'm looking for? When you make it so enticing. Right. So to get them to think that we're portraying black life by covering every stereotypical, degrading kind of image they possibly can, it becomes a hit show and a #1 show for that reason, and probably that reason only. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think the whole idea of the masses of the people watching something like Empire, look at the name. If we get into the whole idea of Empire, we had empires.
We don't have one now.
Thank you. We had empires. So to turn around, like I said on stage tonight, to view ourselves through their distorted lens, it speaks volumes.
Because I read a Time magazine article that you posted,
right?
And it was an interview with Lee Daniels.
Yeah.
You get on my side? Okay.
You can come in the shop.
Right. And Lee Daniels actually said that he is utilizing this platform or this medium or this vehicle called Empire to tell his life as a homosexual melanated man, so he can lessen the blunt force trauma of us accepting that into our homes, quote unquote. So he's using hip hop as a vehicle to steer those sentiments through. And he's even taking a litmus test. He had the nerve to say, oh, after the first show, people's sentiments have softened in regards to.
I read that.
Huh?
Well, he told.
So that's an experiment.
He retold the whole distortion and the lies. Yeah. Now he's going to come back with there were homosexuals in ancient Kemet. Do you understand? He's going to come back with that lie.
Be the one that they say, y'all said y'all want a movie about Egypt? Yeah. Lee Daniels.
Right.
Well, and remember.
Hold, let me start on this side here.
Lee Daniels is supposedly where you going? Okay. Lee Daniels has a gay superhero movie coming out too. So this dude is sick. For a movie like Precious to go from a thought in the mind to actually being created and see that level of dysfunction on the screen, and then Monsters Ball. I mean, if you look into the mind of a person who creates a movie like that, there's something wrong with this dude, but he's constantly getting financing. So we have to look at that. But the whole idea of, the same people who are watching Empire are watching Scandal. Let's be clear. The same people who are watching Real Housewives of Atlanta are watching Empire. So now it's become cool to see brothers on the screen in high heels with lipstick on, trying to outdo women, and we gravitate towards that. I think part of that comes from there's a big segment of our people who are very unhappy and dissatisfied with their lives. So they feed on salaciousness in movies and in TV and won't gravitate towards anything positive because they don't have anything positive going on for themselves. What we need to look at is who's backing this dude, who's constantly financing his projects. Because if we follow that trail, then we can find out who is trying to put these constantly reinforce these images. And don't sleep on the power of using television as a brainwashing technique. It's the most powerful weapon that they have right now. Yeah. So young boys, young black boys and young black males who are watching this madness, and probably with their mothers and their fathers, when you watch it, record it, but don't watch it when the children are at home. Because the whole idea of a young black child, especially a boy, seeing black men on TV and seeing themselves somewhere in that brother is having a very traumatic impact on our children.
That will take us, just like Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
Women were buying the DVD, watching that with their children, and they said, "No, we don't do that. We don't do that." So the psychological damage, it would probably take 2 generations to undo the damage that Empire, Tyler Perry, and the rest, and all these people that go to Hollywood go through that ritual of putting on a dress, becoming feminized, and then enjoying it, wallowing in their particular success. I made a mistake. I was on YouTube one night and I was watching Wanda from In Living Color, Jamie Foxx. He played that so well, I thought I was watching a woman, man. Anyway.
Now, y'all do a great job. Oh man, there we go. There we go.
What you be doing in the background?
That's just a black thing. That's just a black thing. That's just a black thing.
Questions like there.
They got jokes today, y'all. They got jokes. I like to put emotion in my questions, so I don't want the people to hear it. I want them to feel it.
No, they do.
They want them to feel it, not just hear it. So I guess I got to do all that, But listen, one of the things that they, there's this thing the Reverend Phil Valentine always talked about called trigger words and trigger sentences that they use. There's this thing that they say when, yourself, Zaza, Irritated Genie, SETI, y'all had the Warriors Conference. Y'all deal with topics like homosexuality. Now, one of the things they may say, Griff, they may say, Sister Zaza, and you have a son. What if your son is gay, Sister Zaza? What if your daughter is gay, Professor Griff? And so on and so forth. So they say that to kind of soften your sentiments on homosexuality. One thing they did in the show, and I want to get your take on it, is that when Terrence Howard found out his son was gay, his son came and he was switching in some heels. Little son, he dressed like a woman, he put on high heels, and he came to the dinner table. Terrence Howard took him and threw him in the trash can. Now, I don't think, us as black people, I don't think we would throw our children in the trash can, but the psychology behind that is them showing that it kind of makes you sensitive toward the issue, because you're saying, oh, I would never throw my son in a trash can. Oh my God, maybe we are homophobic, Griff. Maybe we need to calm down, Sister Zaza. So talk about this reverse psychology game that they playing, where they're showing us throw our babies in a trash can or do something extreme to try to soften us about homosexuality.
Well, therein lies a psychological war that they're waging on us on a psychic level. By bypassing this whole physical and taking the war to your psyche, having us feel worthless, so much so that we will throw our own children in the trash, like the hundreds of thousands of abortions that happen. These disposable children that, but because old girl ended up getting pregnant from some cat that she don't know, we could dispose of our children. Mind you, on the continent, in Africa, over the 1,000 languages that we have access to, there's no word for abortion clinic because we never had to build one. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this war that they're waging, listen, they're waging a war past those of us that's watching Empire. That's not meant for us. That's for our children's children. You say, see? You see what my dad did to me, or my granddad threw us in the garbage can, and point and use that as an example. They're not looking behind the scenes at who put it on, who financed it. You understand what I'm saying? What movie lot it was shot, what company. They're looking at the fact that that image, being, listen, when that image goes out among non-English speaking countries, i.e. black people, you know how that's going to come across to black people? We're disposing of our defected children because we're not man enough to stand up and educate and support and protect our children so they won't end up gay?
Well, first of all, to answer your the first thing you said, my son is never going to come and tell me he's gay. I would not allow that thought or that energy or that
Or put him in a position where he sees that example.
Well, even before that, though, those type of thoughts don't even come into my mind because thoughts become reality. So I don't even accept that into my energy, into my mind, into my being at all. My son has the lessons. My son knows the knowledge of God and he knows the knowledge of himself. That's number two. Number three, I'm very aware of how much diet plays into the scientific war that's being waged on our people right now. So a lot of these homosexuals are running around here not understanding that they are victims of a lab experiment from pesticides and hormones in the food. So that's something that my son, yes sir.
The nozzles on the milk bottles as well as the pacifiers, they have gender bending chemicals in them.
Right.
So the inception is from early, and then the infamil and all of those particular feeding substances early on are high in estrogen. They have soy in them. So they're feminizing them from a stage of development, growth and development, and what you patternize that child with in a 7-year cycle, that child becomes, because the cells are going to replicate. So if now this child is eating nothing but artificial foods for a 7-year period, that child is going to become an artificial, entity. And then that artificial entity is going to be even more susceptible to the low frequency waves that are being sent through satellite, through phones, through TVs and things of that nature. So you see they hit them with a wave and that wave catches on and they all fall in line with that particular wave.
Right.
So we have to, like you said, be cognizant of the diet, most importantly.
And then the other thing is that, like he said, I don't have my son around homosexuals. He doesn't watch propaganda that is geared towards homosexuals. He has a strong black father who is very aware of who he is as a man, and he is very keen to the black men that came before us who represent what manhood is. So I would say for the brothers and the sisters who have children, you need to be very cognizant of the images that you put in front of your child and what you watch on TV and what you talk about in their presence. That whole women hugging each other and taking pictures now with their pelvises pressed against each other, and the way men, all that little funny gay type stuff, we don't do that. I didn't grow up like that. So my son knows if a boy or a man touches, or if a boy touches you in the wrong way, you bust him in his nose, and I'll deal with the repercussions. So it's understanding the power of the male-female relationship and what that equates to as far as giving birth and giving life.
I'm glad I have Sister Zaza here today because I often have these questions about females, but I don't have a female to speak for the female. So I end up asking a male to get... They running, y'all. They running. So I often, Sister Zaza, end up asking a male to give his perspective on a female. So obviously it's better to have you here. Now, Sister Zaza, here we go. You ready to be on the hot seat? Now, Sister Zaza, check this out. We talking about a show like Empire, and we talking about media and television. If you have a census and you ask around, people will say the majority of people watching these shows are black women. When you have Scandal, when you have Empire, people will say, well, you say this and that about, you know, the black woman and this, and we got to put the black woman on a pedestal. Some brothers may say, how can I put the black woman on a pedestal when she's at home watching Housewives, Scandal, and Empire? Why does it seem, maybe it's not true, maybe it's just my experience, maybe it's not true, maybe it is, I don't know. I need you to elaborate on it. Why does it seem that women gravitate toward this TV so damn much, Zaza, where they're making so many shows to resonate with them, whether it's Housewives or whatever it may be?
Well, is it so far-fetched when we see sisters who spend 2 hours in the mirror every day putting on a pound of makeup and putting a head full of weave in their hair, trying to give the world a certain impression of who they are, and it doesn't reflect anything that they are on the inside? I don't think that it's hard to believe when you look at what black women have been through in this society at the hands of racism, white supremacy, at the hands of our men, at the hands of how we treat each other, how we disrespect one another. We live in a climate now, you know, like Chuck D said, attention is the new currency. So now you have sisters who are completely void inside, don't have anything of substance to talk about, don't read books, don't even watch, you know, anything of substance on television, be it news, be it, you know, Animal Planet, Discovery Planet or whatnot. I mean, something of, you know what I'm saying? Learn about the animal kingdom. But sisters who have nothing of substance to talk about, but they spend every waking moment trying to look good. They live in the gym. They live for looking good and presenting an image to the world in the physical form that they don't even represent emotionally and spiritually and mentally. The whole idea, the selfie, oh my God. I can't tell you how many times I see these sisters in the cars and in public taking selfies. It's like that's the same picture you put up every time. How many times you gonna represent yourself on Facebook the same time? But I would say that, you know, there is a lot of sisters. We talked about this on a Red Pill, Blue Pill show, where the brother talked about sisters who've been molested. And who have so many different levels of pain and anxiety and fear within themselves. They can't even deal with the reality of trying to elevate and grow because they have so much pain within themselves. A lot of these sisters are addicted to celebrities. They worship celebrities, right? So they'll be on YouTube blasting me, but they'll be bigging up Beyonce all day, defending Beyonce all day, defending Rihanna. Like, bruh, they don't know you. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that and I think a lot of these sisters are living vicariously through these celebrities. They live vicariously through the TV shows. They want to be the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They want to be famous because fame is what's magnified in the United States and around the world, in society in general, you know, having your pictures in the paper and whatnot. We clamor towards that, but it doesn't really mean anything. I think that we want that success and that money and that financial aspect because we are empty, broken people who really don't know who we are. And that especially stands for the sisters walking around here looking good and dead on the inside.
When you speak of fame, some say fame is a drug. You know, we have these talks about, you know, celebrities and things that they might do for money that may be hindering the progress of their race, but as far as their financial aspect, it may help their personal pockets and their personal pursuit or their personal goals. When does it become, you know, we got this thing where we want to be successful, we want to achieve our dreams. When should we stop looking at the individual and start looking at the collective? Because let's think about Terrence Howard. Maybe he dreamed his whole life to have the #1 show on Fox. Maybe he dreamed his whole life to get an Oscar or to get a Grammy or to get this or to get that. So you have your dreams in one hand, and then you have your people in another hand, and they may interfere with each other. When does one become more important than the other? Because some may say he came, if we get spiritual, some may say he came down here to do this. Michael Jordan came down here to dribble a damn basketball. Beyonce came down here to shake her ass all day and to sing what she sing about. Jay-Z came down here to do what he do because it completes the universal picture. So should we just accept it as, you know, this is a part of the world we live in and we keep it moving? Or do we keep trying to convince people that don't want to be convinced that you're not supposed to be watching this, and we move on and go with those of a like mind?
When do we recognize the fact that our ancestors live in us? When do we recognize that this is not our culture? This culture is alien to us. Do you understand what I'm saying? When do we recognize the fact that we've been knocked upside the head, dragged over here and brainwashed, and we're not acting our own selves? So the question now becomes is, how far does the rabbit hole go? And how far are you willing to go down the rabbit hole? So when you say came down here to do exactly what they're doing, I think not. Because if we was in another space and time, check this out. You ever thought about the fact that what if somebody else would have kidnapped us? What would we be doing? We would have a totally different reality. All right? We came, they brought us here to build them a nation. We've done that. The project is over. There's no more damn cotton, no more cotton to pick. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is what it is, and we have to recognize the fact that we're disposable. All right? And this is very, very real, and we better understand this and understand it quick. When the lights go out and they lock the door, and all the dancing and bootlicking and shucking and jiving and all that shit is over, Uncle Tommen and all that kind of, and Aunt Thomasina, when all that stuff is over, what else are we going to do? It's Uncle Tom, he got a wife, shit.
If what you said is true, then the white man is God. Because to be limited in the brain capacity and the mental capacity of what we possess as a people, all people, but particularly our people, to be limited to just shaking your ass on stage and singing or dancing, tap dancing for white boys and doing what they tell you to do, it speaks to how low we've stooped as a people. You said on the last show we did with you, what if Nicki Minaj can't, she just trying to do what she got to do to survive. If she tries to stand for the people or whatever, she's going to lose her fame, she's going to lose her money. And I said, well, that's a problem. If you have to choose between being able to stand for something and have substance and being successful in this community, that's a problem right there within itself. Imhotep was a scribe, an architect, a poet. This brother was multifaceted. When we look at what our people created and what we've done over time, Paul Robeson, what? You know what I'm saying? So to look at what we've come from and the great things that we've done. Griff is a hip hop artist. He's a photographer. He's a martial arts expert. He's a comedian. He has like probably 10 different, a lecturer, a speaker, an author, a poet. He has like 10 different talents on any given day. You know what I'm saying? A father, exactly. So to be limited to just entertainment, we talking about entertainers. Beyonce has a beautiful voice. She's very talented. But do I really think that she wants to now, as a mother, get on stage and do strip teases? I don't know. Maybe she does. But is she thinking about her legacy in the long term and the impact that she's having on young black girls? Probably not. And that within itself is a contradiction to me, because how can you be a mother of one black child and not understand that you are a mother to all black children?
Well, I don't want to keep y'all long. I know y'all just did a very long lecture, but before we close out, could you please, as usual, Sister Zaza, I was about to say Sister Griff, Sister Zaza, Sister Zaza Ali. Listen, man, from now, for an attorney, when somebody think of Professor Griff, they're gonna think of Sister Zaza, and when somebody think of Sister Zaza, they're gonna think of Professor Griff. We've never seen nothing like this in this community, in this lecture circuit. You bought something different, and I'm proud of y'all. I got to tell y'all that, man. I got to tell y'all that. It's something beautiful that went down right here. I mean, amazing. It's impacting the whole globe. I get the emails. Leave your contact information so the people can hit y'all up, please.
We're on Facebook. I think I should start there. Facebook. We're on Facebook at Enemy Minds Radio on Facebook. And our email address is mindsmatter, MINDZMATTERBTRS, if you want to email us, at gmail.com, pardon me. And our radio show, Enemy Minds, is on every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 to 10. Call in number 347-633-9644. My number is 678-557-2919. And brothers, if y'all want to send flowers to Zaza, y'all can send them to, no, here you go.
That's it, man. We appreciate all of the brothers and sisters and the others who tune into us on Brother Rich. We love y'all. Keep supporting us. We riding with you. We appreciate you, and we love you, Brother Rich. And thanks for looking out.
All right, good brother.
Peace.
Rich.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, cool.